Picture this. You're a kid, 12 years old, still reeling from the devastating loss of your mother. The one person you trusted above all else, your father, looks you in the eye and tells you he's taking the only thing your mother left you, your financial future. He tells you it's for the good of the family, but what he really means is for him and his new wife. This isn't just a story about a lawsuit. This is a story about betrayal, fighting for what's yours, and the chilling, satisfying moment when you watch the people who wronged you lose everything. If you've ever felt the sting of betrayal or dreamed of serving justice to someone who stole from you, hit that like button, subscribe, and prepare yourself for a story of justified revenge. That will have you on the edge of your seat. It all started when I was 10. My mother, the kindest, most beautiful soul I have ever known, passed away. It was a tragedy that hollowed out our small family, leaving a space that could never be filled. She knew what was coming, and she had a plan. In her will, she left me an inheritance of over $100,000. Not a trust fund to be accessed when I was 40, but a nest egg for my future to be given to me on my 18th birthday. My father was left in charge of it, a simple legal formality, or so I thought. For 5 years, my father and I existed in a haze of grief. Then he met a new woman. She was different, not like my mom. Louder, more demanding, and with a business. Idea that my teenage mind sounded more like a pipe dream than a viable plan. My father was smitten, and suddenly his focus shifted from me to his new life. I was a child, but I wasn't stupid. I saw the way they looked at me like a reminder of a past they were trying to move on from. When I was 15, the real betrayal began. I walked into the living room one evening to the sound of hushed, tense whispers. My father was on the phone, his face pale, his new wife standing over him with her arms crossed. I heard a fragment of a sentence. ... The bank won't give us a loan. My heart started to pound. I had a terrible feeling I knew what was coming. Later that night, my father sat me down. I remember the sickly sweet smell of his cologne, the way he wouldn't meet my eyes. He told me that he and his wife were going to open a business, a small boutique shop, and they needed capital. The bank had denied them a loan, but there was another option. It's a great opportunity for the whole family, honey, he said, his voice a slick veneer of fake enthusiasm. We'll use the money your mother left you. It's better than you just blowing it on random things when you turn 18. The words hit me like a physical blow. The air rushed out of my lungs. That's Mom's money, I whispered, my voice trembling. She left it for me. He waved his hand dismissively. It's a loan. We'll pay you back with interest. It's a sound investment. Believe me, your mother would have wanted us to be happy. That last part was a low blow. My mother would have been furious. She would have seen right through his selfish lie. I felt a hot, visceral surge of anger, a feeling I had never experienced before. It wasn't just about the money. It was about the violation, the disrespect for my mother's wishes, and the blatant theft. From that moment on, the girl I had then died, and a cold, determined version of me was born. My father and his new wife thought I would just get over it. They were wrong. I became their personal hell. I was sullen, withdrawn, and intentionally difficult. I never forgot what they had done. I stopped talking to my father unless it was absolutely necessary. Every day was a fight. Every meal was a silent battlefield. My father would try to placate me, to tell me things were different, but I was done. I just had to wait 3 more years. The day I turned 18, I was packed and gone before the sun was up. The second I was out of that house, I started researching. I knew what they did was wrong, but I didn't know the legal specifics. I spent my days in a library, learning about my rights, finding out exactly what a breach of fiduciary duty was. My entire maternal side of the family was a rock of support. My grandfather, my aunts, my cousins, they all knew what my father had done and they were disgusted. They helped me find a lawyer, gave me advice, and cheered me on. Not everyone was so supportive. Some of my father's family, the ones who had been celebrating the new business and his new kids, started to get uncomfortable. They told me I should think about my father's new children, my younger siblings. They were innocent, they said. They told me that suing my father would devastate their financial security and that I should wait. I ignored them. Every single one of them. I knew what my father had done was unforgivable. He had stolen from me, a child. He had dishonored my mother's final wishes. He had broken my trust in a way that could never be repaired. What kind of person steals from his own child to build a life with a new family? I didn't care about their new life, their savings, or the havoc my lawsuit would cause. All I cared about was getting back what was mine. The lawsuit was a long, brutal process. Every time I had to face my father in a courtroom, a new wave of anger and pain would wash over me. He sat there, a portrait of a man who had lost his way, his new wife by his side, glaring at me like I was the villain. They played every trick in the book, claiming they had no money, that the business was struggling, that I was ruining them. The court, however, saw through their lies. The judge saw a 15-year-old girl who had been robbed by her own father, a man who had used a child's inheritance to fund his new life. The judge saw the trail of deceit and betrayal. In the end, there was no choice for them. They had to. The final verdict came down like a hammer. My father and his wife were forced to sell their business. The very thing they had stolen from me to create was now being torn from their hands to pay me back. But that wasn't enough. The sale didn't cover the full amount. The court ordered that my father's wages would be garnished until the debt was paid in full. To avoid that, he had to drain their entire personal savings. The day the money hit my bank account, it wasn't a moment of celebration. It was a moment of cold, stark finality. I stared at the numbers on the screen, $100,000. And then some, and felt nothing but an immense sense of relief. I had done it. I had fought for what was mine, and I had won. But I had lost something too. I had lost the family I once had. When my father's family members, the ones who had tried to talk me out of it, heard what had happened, they were furious. They told me I had no heart, that I should have thought about the new kids, my half-siblings, and what a financial hardship this would be for them. "You're a monster," one of them said to me on the phone. "How can you not feel bad? Those kids are innocent." I felt a ghost of a smile touch my lips. "Their father should have thought about that when he was stealing from me," I replied, my voice steady. "They don't have to suffer. He just has to take responsibility. It's not my fault he decided to put his own selfish desires over his children's well-being." Both of us. In the end, I learned that justice isn't always pretty. It's not always a hug and a handshake. Sometimes it's a cold, hard number on a bank statement, and the satisfaction of knowing that the person who hurt you has paid the price. I don't regret a single second of it, not one. I fought for what was mine, and I won. My mother would have been proud. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell us in the comments below. What's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed or experienced? And of course, subscribe for more stories like this.